Zorro by Isabel Allende. Uh, Got it? Zorro. I gotta say that that was the most fun I've ever had in reading a book, I think. And she's very good at telling a story. She tells a story very well. It's cool to, I love origin stories. I always loved origin stories of superheroes. Uh, and Zorro, of comic book heroes, let's put it that way. And Zorro is like one of those comic book heroes or, superhero, although he is purely human. Um, and unlike Batman, who is human, he doesn't have all this super cool technology. He has a sword and a whip and a horse. Isabel Allende's writing is like I'm gonna go buy some more of her books today. Like I'm gonna read all of them. I can't. Everything she does is influential and see, here's the thing. Sometimes when I read magical realism or read like beautiful poetic prose, sometimes there is a line or two that makes me stop and like, man, that was beautiful. Sometimes. So I don't experience that with like an event like Lee Child didn't have any of that. Chuck Palin Fight Club writer guy doesn't have any of that. But the magical realism tends to have those lines that are like poetic and beautiful. So would I put this in magical realism? I guess there's a little bit of it. I guess it might be a little bit of it. But there were none of those like, oh, that's beautiful. Oh, it's like that like shockingly beautiful lines that I come across every now and then. Like I used to come across with Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Isabel Allende can produce those lines like nobody's business. In the first in letters from Stories of Eveluna. Stories of Eveluna. Within the first pages, I was struck with those words, those lines. So she has the ability to do that, but I don't think that she did it in this book. And I think that because one of the reasons was I think she was commissioned to write this book by the owner of this Zorro name, Zorro Production Company or something. So this wasn't just something that just came to her. This was a project that she was told was hired to work on. So that's not anything negative. That's definitely not anything negative about the book. It was fantastic. I highly recommend. If you and the cool thing was I've never read anything about Zorro. I guess I used to watch the TV show as a kid, maybe. But I watched the Antonio Banderas movies, right? The Mask of Zorro and The Legend of Zorro. Both were cool. I liked it. I liked them both. So that was my only reference to Zorro, and then I realized that all the names and the characters were the same, and I thought that was kind of cool or kind of odd, or. But if it's an already written story, it's already been written. It's written in like the original story is written like in 1905 or something. So it's been around. The characters, I recognize the characters from the Antonio Banderas, Anthony Hopkins, Catherine Zeta-Jones movie. And it turns out she watched those movies. She watched those movies before she wrote this book. So that's pretty cool. Like, I wonder if there's a little bit of... I don't know much about Zorro before the Antonio Banderas movie. So I don't know if Zorro was anything like Antonio Banderas played him. Being funny and comical, and who knows. But anyways, that is it. That's all I have to say. I loved it, and I'm going to go buy another Isabel Allende book today. I'm going to read them all of them. I'm going to get like Gabriel Garcia Marquez and buy a book and then start reading it and realize I already read it. That's how I'm going to be with Isabel Allende. Or Isabel Allende, however you want to say it. That's it. FYI, my new book, which I didn't know I was going to write, but my new book is coming out soon. You can read the first chapter here. It's kind of a follow-up, maybe a little bit of a prequel to my first book, but read it, see what you think. Okay? Ciao.